I am joined here in the TV studio by Katy Hutchinson, who is the CEO of the Chaos Group. And good afternoon, Katy. Thank you for joining us. And so today we are going to be having a little bit of chat about why now's a great time to look at a career in care. So firstly, Katy, can you tell us a little bit about your role here within Chaos?
Yes, so my role is I do a lot of the business development work, so looking at new projects and then supporting to get them implemented, and then the team came in place and do the delivery. And then any trials and tribulations we might have along the way fall on my lap.
And how long have you been working here within Chaos and the Stay-at-Home?
15 years.
15 years. Wow.
Could I possibly jump in, actually, guys? Just want to ask Katy, if you don't mind, how did you get to the role you're in at the moment?
So I worked for a local newspaper and I absolutely hated it. And I used to sit there thinking, I'm not doing this forever. But at that time, the place where I worked looked onto the back of Tesco's where the homeless hung out. And I thought, that's what I want to do, work with them. So I went into work and I said, this isn't going to be the job for me forever. So can I come in early every day so that I can finish early on a Wednesday? And I volunteered with St Petrock's and I got onto a social work degree. And then I qualified as a social worker and went and worked for the local authority, and I hated it. I just felt like I was the social police, and I thought, I'm also not a conformer, so I'm highly likely to end up on a disciplinary. So I left with my dignity in my bag, and I was working for Stay-at-Home as a student. I did care work. So at that time, there was a CQC inspection, and some of the paperwork needed to be brought up to date. So I put all those processes in place, and then I had a change of circumstance. I had a family member who died, which meant I could stay in Cornwall because I was going to go to Plymouth. My husband was in the military, and I stayed in Cornwall, and I stayed with Stay-at-Home and Chaos.
You've had a real sort of variety of roles then over the years.
Yeah, and I started life as a carer.
Amazing. So we've obviously been talking a lot about care this week and the importance of care roles and the job vacancies that are available here in Cornwall. Why is now such an ideal time for people to consider a job within care?
I think the really good thing about care is you're always going to have work. So I think there's been a lot of uncertainty within other industries, whereas in care there's always going to be employment. And I think it's the first time, I don't know about nationally, but definitely within Cornwall, where the health and social care have come together and started working with the private sector. So I think there is a lot of more support and care pathways so that you can develop your career within the health and social care sector. That's
the nice thing, isn't it? There's so much development that you can move on from. It's a brilliant sector to be a part of. I've been in receipt of care myself on a personal level, and I think it does. People often get off-put by the idea of working in care because they think you're in one particular box, but that's not always the case, isn't it? There's so much involved within the job.
Yeah, and I can remember when I first went and did care, my mate worked for Stay-at-Home as well, and she was a trainee nurse. And I can remember my first Saturday morning thinking, what the hell am I doing? I am not going to be able to do this. This is not for me. But knowing I had a motivation that I had to fund being on a social work degree. So I had that motivation to keep going. And once that first week of it's really new and a bit shocking, it just becomes the norm. So I think those things that really shock people, you really adore doing. You've just got to put one foot in front of the other to get through those first couple of weeks, and then it becomes like second nature.
Absolutely. And obviously within the Chaos Group they provide training as well, which is obviously a key point. People often get off-put thinking, if I don't have a qualification or experience in that, but that's the nice thing, there's training options available as well, isn't there? Yeah,
so I always say I don't think you need any experience to go into care. I think it's about values and behaviours. So when we interview, we always interview to values and behaviours. And I don't interview so much now, but when I did interview, had people who may have been a young mum and then had 3 or 4 children, and they'll come in with their head down and be like, I've never done anything. You're like, hang on a minute. Yeah. Just talk me through what your daily life looks like. So you've got 3 kids, tell me what school they go to. And then when you actually pull out the skill set that people have got and then their values and behaviour and see their confidence come out because they think, I have done something and I've done something really good, they're the ones that are really, really strong. And often people who have have, like yourself, been in receipt of care or been vulnerable or marginalised for whatever reason, make the best carers. So what we find is we often have to put more time into people who've maybe been sectioned or been in receipt of care themselves, but they're the ones that really have an empathy and make the most amazing carers and stay in employment with one care organisation or move within the sector. They stay for a really, really long time.
I'm going to jump in again if you guys don't mind, just because I always like to look at the mental aspects of things, and you can, like you said, people like that have been, people don't even realise they've been caring for people when they have been caring for people, and it builds such a strong mental state in a lot of people. But people who are in care a lot of times, they come across a lot of some really sad and upsetting situations. It can't be helped. That is a part of a lot of care work. What kind of systems, what kind of things are in place to look after those who are actually in care as well?
So I can only talk for our own organisation. I'm not sure what other organisations are doing, but we've got a lot of our team are mental health first aid trained. We pay a company that will do, they do external wellbeing sessions, and you can get 6 counselling sessions, and that's over the telephone. And we've also got a wellbeing and support worker within our own organisation. And then our office team, they do something where they have symbols on their desk. So they'll come in the morning and put their symbol up, and their team around them will know that symbol means this is the mood they're in and this is the support that they need. Because what we found is people are working under a lot of pressure a lot of the time, and sometimes they might come across as short, and it isn't. It's because they're not coping with something else or something's happened at home, and rather than having to find their words in the morning, they can just come in and put their symbol up, and because they've spoken about it before, the team around them knows what they need.
That's so beautiful. I like that, because sometimes you may be in any particular mood. The last thing you want to have to do is talk about it, even though obviously talking about things is healthy. To find that energy when you're in that mood can be such a burden and only make things worse for you in the short term. And to have that in place gets rid of that and only puts you towards the positive steps of, helping each other to get on with your day and get some positives out of it. I really like that.
Yeah, I think it's a great concept, and obviously over the last 12 to 18 months the pandemic has played a massive part in all of our lives. It's affected us all, and in terms of employment, it's affected a lot of people. So what would you say to people who are looking for work and obviously leaning towards the care sector? It's the perfect time for people to get involved, really, isn't it?
Yeah, like I said before, there's lots of work. I think as well, if you didn't want to sign up full time, you wanted to volunteer, there's now guidance that volunteers can do a lot more work. And like myself, when I wanted to get on a degree course, you often need experience within the sector, within a sector-based job role, or volunteering experience. So I think by coming into the care sector, if you've got a vision that actually I want to go on to be a nurse, or I want to be a social worker, or I want to be a youth worker, often coming into care, a lot of the training's provided. You can get up to a level 5 qualification whilst being paid, and that can help as a pathway into other care careers.
That's perfect. It's good to know, because like you say, people come into it and a lot of people do look for that career progression. So it's nice that as a company you support that.
Yeah, we've taken on lots of people that are on nurse degrees because we know they've got a commitment to the sector, and that's the values and behaviours that we're looking for. So if someone came to us and said, I'm going to be really honest with you, my dream, my motivation for coming to you is for employment is in 3 years' time I want to be on a degree course, we would be, okay, let's map your journey, so we're giving you the best chance so that you can shine, so you do get on that course. And we have done that on a number of occasions.
Brilliant. And what would you say to someone who maybe watching this today is maybe thinking, right, I'd like to get involved in care? What is the next step to making that move?
So if you go on the Proud to Care website, there are lots of jobs. There's lots of jobs on there that are throughout Cornwall. Or Google, having a look at agencies within your area and getting in contact with them. If you were just curious to begin with, I think lots of people would let you go and do a bit of a volunteering or see what it is they get up to. And then equally, if you're unemployed and you're thinking, I just need a bit to develop my confidence, we here at Chaos have got a positive people team that have got a care pathways worker. If you give that team a call on 01872 277 600, you could speak to one of the workers there and they would get you signed up onto programme and could get you a lot of your training for free, and the Care Pathways lead would do the one-to-one work to build your confidence and get you ready for employment in that area.
Hope you don't mind me jumping in just one last time, guys. Just wanted to ask, because I think a lot of people get put off by hearing almost the stereotypical hours that people have to work in care, and I think there's actually, that stereotype is very wrong. What kind of options are there for people who are going into care with regards to the hours that they work or need to work?
So again, I can only talk for our own organisation, though I think my understanding talking to the wider sector is people are loads more flexible now. So there is an expectation to work every other weekend with us as an organisation. If you were part-time, you might agree we work every other Saturday or every other Sunday, so it's not both days depending on the number of hours you work. But other than that, we're really flexible. So if somebody just wanted evenings around their husband coming in from work and can have the kids, or you're a student in the day, or you just wanted days but you could do the weekend, I think people are really flexible and can be person-centred. I always say we need to be person-centred with the people that we're working with, but also with our staff team if you want to get the best from people.
Absolutely. I think that's a key point you've made there. As carers, you have to fit into the life of the person you're supporting, and making it's that person-centred that makes the world of difference. That is your best selling point, really, which has done some amazing work. And I want to talk to you a little bit about, you've mentioned you've progressed through, you started in care yourself. Do you have like a favourite memory or moment that just sort of sticks in your brain?
I think I have many, and back in the day, me and Babs used to care together.
Did you?
Yeah, and some of the stuff we probably should never ever share, I don't think. Yeah, so my fondest memories are probably working with Babs back in the day.
The dream team.
Yeah. She, one day we were doing this particular care, and Babs is actually terrified of heights, but to the point we're on a jetty, where there's a drop either side, but it's not that high, and she can literally hardly walk along it. Yeah, so we had our funny moments.
And I like the fact that when it comes to community care in general, it's not just in that box of people think you're going into someone's house, you're just doing care. Community care is also, it's a social, you're out and about and you're supporting someone with their everyday life, which is so important. And as the carer as well, you get to experience these fun things and events, or like you said, you're on a jetty.
Yeah. And we have done care, which I did quite a lot of that care, where we supported students in university, which was really good fun. And we had a care team, I think, of 5 of us, and we lived on the university site, like we would rotate our shifts, and that was really good fun. So yeah, like you say, I think people see it as just maybe I'm going in for half an hour or small bits of care, and I've got a fixed print of what that looks like, and it probably is. Actually going and talking to an agency about what they do is way different to what people's perception is.
Absolutely. And I love the fact that earlier on you said sometimes people think they haven't got the qualifications or the skills, but they've been doing it all their life with family members or other people around them. So there are no set skills that you need to be able to apply for this.
No, you need to write about values and behaviours. Yeah.
Brilliant. So I think we've got a short video now that we're going to play from the Proud to Care team.
I think some skills I've learnt whilst I've been in care have definitely affected my personal life, in terms of it has made me more confident, and I'm going into these people's homes and looking after them when I would never before have the confidence to even go up to strangers and say, oh, would you mind blah blah, asking. But I have the confidence to go into people's houses and to look after their children or to look after them, and which I don't think I would have before. Even a phone call, I'd be like, oh, hello. Whereas I think it's definitely given me a lot more confidence. Yeah, just around certain situations, like being on the phone or talking to new people. Whereas in this job, you have to talk to new people, visiting new people all the time. And I think that's just become that's become normal now. So I don't have those sort of anxieties around that anymore, because that's part of my day-to-day working life.
And as always, if you'd like more information about a career in care, please do get in touch with us here at Chaos. You can give us a call on 01872 229601, or you can search for Proud to Care Cornwall online. Back to you, Pudge.
Thank you very much, Ross. And thank you very much, Katy, as well. Really appreciate that.